Hey there! Is today your first time here? Or maybe your first time in a while? If so, maybe you're wondering exactly who we are and what this church is all about. Well, we'd like you to know that we're a group of ordinary people who are on an amazing journey together, following Christ. Our guide is the Bible because it's the divinely inspired Word of God, and it will never take us in the wrong direction. Along the way, we hope you'll see that we are welcoming and spiritually passionate, and that getting to know you is a big deal to us. We know that the road is rough sometimes, but we'll work really hard to bring you practical and relevant messages to equip and encourage you through life's ups and downs. We want you to know that we care about this community, and we believe that it's our job to make it a better place. So no matter who you are or where you've been, we're glad you're here with us today, and we hope that you'll join us on our journey, following Christ and living out His plan for us. So welcome to church, and Merry Christmas.
are in and out of here, grabbing tools and looking for things, but sometimes, if I time it just right, I can poke around in here myself, just to see what I can see, like this little wooden sheep that my grandfather used to carve before his hands got too stiff and he couldn't make them anymore. He gave me one sort of like this once. Or like this sharp sickle. I'm not supposed to touch the blade because it's too sharp and everything. And because I've gotten in trouble for it about 20 times. Or, I know, the fancy robe that my mother made for my grandfather when she was just a girl. Grandfather told her he had lost it by accident, but I...
Miriam!
Yes, sir?
What are you looking for?
I was just,
Keeping our little secret?
Yes, sir.
You haven't been, touching anything, have you?
No, sir.
Like that sharp sickle?
No, sir, I promise.
What about, my shepherd's staff, for instance?
No, sir, I would never touch that.
Well, it's not that I mind you touching it. I just want to make sure nothing ever happens to this. Or my shed. Oh, of everything I own, this is most important. Not my land, not my livestock, not even that crazy colored robe you were looking for a minute ago. No, this staff is my greatest treasure.
You haven't told me that story in a long time, Grandfather. But the night you were using that staff, and the angels came to see you.
Guess I haven't, have I? Oh, Miriam, it was unbelievable. We were just sitting there, some other fellows and me, bored as usual. Out of nowhere, this person appears. Bright lights started shining all around us. He started telling us about our Savior being born, even down to where the boy was and what he was wearing. The whole time, mouth wide open, eyes bugging out of our heads. Even the sheep were shocked. And came more angels, and more angels, and more, and more, and more.
While shepherds watch their flocks by night, and new song filled the sky, and it still fills our hearts tonight, so lift your praise on high. Glory, glory to God in the highest. Glory, glory to God in the highest. Glory to God in the highest.
I tried everything I know to explain that night, Mary. It's just that, well, have you ever been scared out of your skin?
There was this one time when I was caught in a really bad lightning storm, and I had to hide all scrunched down under a rock until it finally quit.
I'm telling you what, this was like 10 thunderstorms, all at the same time, shining all around us, spraying us from all sides, and there was no place to hide. We thought we were dead, but worse, we thought we might not be dead, and that the angels were going to come back.
But if it was so scary, then why?
I know. It's tough to understand. But sometimes, Mary, sometimes God needs to scare us. And we might never stop long enough to know there's more than life than sheep. Shearing days, supper before dark. Why else would a bunch of crazy shepherds run off from the town in the middle of the night, all stubbly faced, grass stained, unless we were too scared not to go? I mean, if God just sat around waiting for us to notice Him, we may never know. He may have never seen. Anyways, that's what we did, Mary. We ran into town. And we kept running until we finally found where that little baby was. His father, Joseph, he sort of met us at the door, looking all tense and nervous. But Mary, she barely stirred. In fact, I don't think she even noticed us at all. She just sat there holding him, rocking him, singing then.
What a wonder you are, Jesus, heaven's brightest star. Jesus, you have captured my heart. Jesus, what a wonder you are.
She didn't look scared.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? Being in such a strange place, being responsible for such a special baby. Somehow she sat there holding him, treasuring every moment. You know, I can still hear her singing. remember it well.
I've got to go tell my family about this.
But wait, Jacob, no one will believe us.
Believe us? Look at my face. Look at his face. Feel what's in your heart. Do I understand it? No. But I dare anyone to look into my eyes and tell me I haven't seen him. That baby boy is our Messiah. This Jesus is going to grow up to become our deliverer. And he's here, tonight, in Bethlehem. Sir, have you heard the news about the new baby? He was just born in that stable, right over there. He's the Messiah, I tell you. We saw him with our own eyes. Just tonight, my friends and I were out watching our sheep and...
Hey, have you heard? The Messiah was born tonight, right here in Bethlehem.
So obscure, who would think the King is yours? But we've been there, and we believe. We have heard the cry of a baby. Go tell everybody what we have heard and we have seen. Go tell all the people that we have held the infant King. Jesus is born, and he will reign forevermore. So go tell everybody what we have heard and we have seen. Empty arms, great to hear, how can we keep it near? We fill our lives with songs of joy, so we sing the praise of a baby boy. Go tell everybody what we have heard and we have seen. Go tell all the people that we have held the infant King. Jesus is born, and he will reign forevermore. So go tell everybody what we have heard and we have seen. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. I say, go tell everybody what we have heard and we have seen. Go tell all the people that we have held the infant King. Jesus is born, and he will reign forevermore. So go tell everybody. We say, go tell everybody. Go tell everybody what we have heard and we have seen.
If only it could have stayed that way, Miriam. Everybody we told was amazed at what we were telling them. What if it's true? What if he is the Savior?
But why didn't it stay that way?
Yeah, because somebody very important was wondering the exact same thing. What if it's true? What if he is the Savior? The King of the Jews?
Who?
You know Herod? Herod Antipas? Well, you know how bad he is.
I've heard you say.
Well, many years before he came along, there was another Herod. Herod the Great. It was late in his reign, not long before he died, Mary. He started thinking that everyone was out to get him. You know how it is when you're spooked by a shadow, or you're startled by an animal in the bushes.
Yes.
Now, Herod was old by this time, and all he could see in his head was shadows, darkness. All he could hear was lies and whispers. He even killed two of his own sons. Was about to kill the third, thinking they were all plotting against him. He even killed every little boy he thought might be the Messiah. Every little boy. 2 years old. Young. Even mine.
What? Before he did what?
Who are these men who come in here to tell me of a king? Do they not know that I am Herod and I rule everything? Who is this boy that they seek, that leads them with a scar? Go get my priests and men of wisdom before this goes too far. Tell me the city if you know where this child will be. In Bethlehem, you say? Well, I find that hard to believe. If I can get these wise men to lead me to the place, then perhaps I can get rid of him before I am disgraced. I am the king. I am the king. I won't share my throne with anyone, and I'll not rest till he is gone. I am the king. I am the king. And no little boy is gonna come to take my crown away. I am the king. What will I do if they don't find him or tell me where he is? How can I know that he is gone and that I'm done with this? There must be a way that I can know this tiny threat is through. If I'm adding right, this little boy could be no more than 2. I am the king. I am the king. I won't share my throne with anyone, and I'll not rest till he is gone. I am the king. I am the king. And no little boy is gonna come to take my crown away. I'll have my way. I am the king. I am the king. I am the king.
My firstborn son. My little treasure.
I never knew.
I probably shouldn't have told you that, Mary. But you know you should know. It's important that you know. See, I can't explain what this staff means to me unless I tell you how much it cost. Not in money, but in real life. See, to follow Jesus, Mary, means to give up things that are very important to you, very precious to you. Things you wouldn't expect to be precious to you, like anger, revenge, self-pity, bitterness, even unforgiveness. If it hadn't been for Jesus, I would have never learned that you can give up everything. The good, the bad, the safe and secure, everything here, and still walk away with more than you had before. And the same thing was true of those wise men from the east I told you about. Do you remember?
Of course.
The ones that went to Bethlehem while after Jesus was born.
Yes, I love that story.
Even the gifts they brought, gold, frankincense, myrrh, they still returned home with more than they came with. Look around the shed. You see any gold lying around here? Here, let me get a little closer. That smell like perfume I'm wearing? No matter who you are, whether you're a wise man or a poor shepherd or a giggling little grandchild, our only treasure is Jesus.
Come before us, with the test that we own, knowing all that we hold precious cannot compare to His throne. Is the one we long to
I'll follow you, Jesus, wherever you go. He started talking about foxes having dens, and birds having nests. But the Son of Man, he said, there's no place to lay his head. I'll never forget that. I'd see him gather up all the little children, about your age, younger, big smile on his face. He would just laugh like he had just heard the funniest joke in the world. And his stories, Miriam. He told one about a man walking down that big curvy road that runs through the hills from Jericho.
I know that story. It was about the Samaritan who helped the beat up man, even when the priest and Levite wouldn't do that.
It was amazing. I even heard once that he was in a boat with his friends. Big storm come rolling in. He just faced the wind, the rain, said, silence, and just like that, all was gone.
That's awesome.
He was awesome. That's why I keep thinking, Miriam, why? I mean, why me? Why would God come and find a 1 in 1,000 shepherds on a 1 in 1,000 hillside? Why would he send what seemed like, I don't know, 1,000 angels? Just so I could see his one and only Son with my own eyes before anyone else on earth. Why? I mean, who am I? Who am I that the Lord of all the earth would care to know my name? Would care to feel my hurt? Who am I that the bright and morning star would choose to light the way for my ever wandering heart? It's not because of who I am. It's because of what he's done. It's not because of what I've done, but because of who you are.
Tell me who I
staff hanging there, Miriam. Reminds me of who I am and who he is.
But why do you keep it hanging like that?
Well, I'll tell you. I don't think there's any way that I could ever forget the night the angels first appeared. The night that I first saw Mary holding her newborn baby. Just that reminds me of that night. And even without it, though, the memory of that night's never too far away. But Miriam, there was another night. Actually, it was the middle of the afternoon. But it felt like night. It looked like night. No sun, just darkness. And there was Jesus. No longer a baby boy, but a grown man. Oh, there were no angels there that night, Mary. Nothing about this day was happy. I don't know if angels cry, but I know what shepherds do. Because there it was. Just a face in the crowd. And there he was, Jesus, nailed to a cross. Whenever I'd seen him before, Miriam, I could always recognize a resemblance to that little baby in the manger. I'd look, rub my chin, smile, remember. But this time, it didn't look like him. Didn't look like a man at all beaten, bruised, bloody.
Why?
Because he loved us. Even those who didn't love him back. Even those who didn't know they needed a Savior. And if they did, wouldn't have wanted one. Jesus said that he who has seen me has seen the Father. And when I saw Jesus dying on that cross for my sins, Miriam, I saw the Father. A Father like me who knows what it's like to watch his son die. A Father who cares for people like me, who cares for families like ours. A Father who would stop at nothing to show how much he loves me. That's why I keep this staff hanging out here, Mary. It reminds me of another day. Jesus hung on another piece of wood to remind me of, to save me from all my sins and to give me a new reason to live.
I don't want to forget either, Grandfather, but I wasn't there to see him.
You don't need to see Jesus with your own eyes to know how much he loves you. No matter who you are, how old you are. You can treasure him in your heart just like I do.
Even for someone like me?
He can be your treasure too. I tell you what, why don't you take this? You take this and you keep it as your very own treasure. Then every time you look at it, you remember that Jesus died for you and me. And every time we come out to this place where it used to hang, we remember that Jesus came off that cross, lives again. And because his tomb is empty, every one of us can be there when the angels return and announce his arrival. And I don't want you to miss that, Mary.
What can I give him, poor as I am? If I were a shepherd,
I never dreamed that I'd know anything special as being in that same stable with baby Jesus. But I know something just as special. I stand right here with you, knowing that Jesus is here with us. I never imagined that I'd see anything as sweet as watching Mary hold her newborn baby, treasuring every minute of his birth. But I know something just as sweet. That's knowing that my granddaughter treasures that very same Jesus in her heart. I've been there, Mary. I've seen Jesus. But he's as much yours now as he is mine. Isn't he great?
It really is.
He is.
This world has so many things to offer that satisfy the hand but not the heart. And people spend their lives in search of something more and never know the wonder that you are.
Where do you think I should keep it, Grandfather?
Miriam, you don't keep Jesus anywhere. You share him. You go and you tell everybody.
Well, we hope tonight that you have heard the word, that you have heard how to take that Jesus, how to take that treasure and hide him in your heart. That's what it's